Welcome back to the artist always known as Alejandro. And to my series featuring my Galaxy Guards, the name I use for these cosmic beings who are now being dubbed as the Interstellars. I think that works better. But back in the day, I called them the Galaxy Guards. And all of them has a special connection to elements in the universe. Next up is the Ocean Guard, dubbed as Wolgrim. Well, originally, I had him as the Sea Guard. Doesn't sound too threatening. Granted, he has connections to bodies of water, mainly oceans and stuff, and he can talk to them. This is what he looked like back in the day. Another human, and look at that lovely twisted arm of his. And yes, he has... Look at that. Waves not only on his chest insignia, but also on his head. Looks very pissed. I don't know why. But now I decided to transform Wolgrim. I gave him a name. And instead of just being the Sea Guard, because it's like, what? What does that mean? He guards the letter C? At first, it sounds a little... So the Ocean Guard, but I'm going to give him Wolgrim. We know what he can do. And so I revamped the look. Not a guy in a mask, in a skin-tight costume like Solarin. He has a costume. Maybe it's skin-tight, because you got to be like that to navigate the waters, right? But he's going to be having more of an alien look. Why not? We're in space, science fiction. Got to have some aliens in here. So I gave him this position and... starting to sketch out the things. I did my little crosshairs and my oval for the head, and I'm working on the shoulders. Kind of all over the place. Doing my thing here. Starting off on our pencil layer. Just a few little things for the neck, giving it some shape and substance. Okay, this will be the first time I'm doing this with one of my drawings. I'm actually speeding it up a little. Just because I really spent a lot of time on this, and I really don't want to stretch things out too much. So, right now, I'm doing the chest and moving on to the middle section, his abs. I've been giving this rounded, downward curve for where they meet the hips. I think that is something I've been trying, watching other artists, kind of rounding out the underwear area. And as you can see, I like to do the lines a few times, do this. Maybe doing a little cylindrical stuff here with the legs. Some geometric shapes with the knee. Building out the calf muscles and then the shin. I was playing around with this. I wanted him in this kind of position. He's riding a wave. So I'm actually displaying one of these characters using their powers. This is the first time I have any of these Galaxy Guards, Interstellars, showing off their powers, and you're seeing the result of that. So I thought him riding a wave was pretty good. So at first I have him on a side, his legs are at a side angle. And I say first because this is going to change later on. But for now, we're sticking with this angle. Go wide, not too bad, a little dynamic. So now moving on to the arm. That's right. Build up the little shoulder blades. Give them a center line. A through line so we know where the center of the body is. Arms and shoulders. Just been kind of doing this bicep line. As you can see, I did the pencil drawings underneath, and I drew a pose, and I thought this would be a good position. Like he's summoning the wave from underneath him, like conjuring hands, palms to the sky kind of thing. But I also wanted him to have bent fingers, not fists, but bent fingers. Like he's starting to grip it. I don't know. This won't matter later because I end up changing it. But I wanted to play around with this, just the back and forth thing, you know me. Try to add a palm in there. These bent fingers. And originally, I was just giving him 3. Yeah, the alien 3-finger deal, but you'll see that changes. Arm is really short, but you know how it is. We just leave it and move on. Going on to the left arm. Going on to the left arm. Giving too much bulk there. And this is still a learning process for myself, too. Where the shoulder lies, the bicep, the length of the forearm. I kind of have an idea, having drawn for so long. I originally wanted this where his left was facing up. Like he has it twisted and this one was facing up. But, you know, I have a problem drawing over my own stuff. Like, get this out of there. Well, then I decided to make it like he's holding onto the side there. Never really. Trying to get these fingers laid out. Wanted to show each finger in this hand. Wasn't satisfied with that one, apparently. A lot of erasing. Let's see how this baby looks. It's okay. It's a dynamic pose still. And here I decided to throw in some of those just wave guidelines to give me an idea of what he's standing on. Alright, some things have changed in that little split second. I erased a few lines, as you can see. I wasn't too happy with what I had. So I thought maybe his arm just being stretched out and maybe a side angle of the hand. Like you're kind of balancing yourself on the wave. But then again, I did this weird thing with his hand. Giving him 4 fingers this time. Then I said, well, he should be kind of holding it up, and the bent finger thing, I was still trying to get that. Let's make him open palms. Still not digging it. Well, you know what? I said, well, that's okay. Let me move on. It's still a work in progress. And in this one, I thought this hand should now be raised up, like he's guiding the wave in a direction, so both arms should be facing that direction. But then I said, you know what? Let me try that thing again with the palm to the sky. Obviously, this isn't the final sketch. You can see in the thumbnail I did something very different, which I'm starting to do right here. There we go. The foreshortening look. Kind of like it. Yeah, I know. I did the same thing with the previous video with Palfira, but it just seemed to fit him a little more. You know, he's balancing himself. Has to have his hand stretched out and one facing the camera. Seems better to me. Yep, got annoyed with all of that leg and bottom part of the body. I wanted him more kind of leaning forward. Then I thought this would be a good one where he's like really bent. He's really riding that wave high. You know, his leg is super bent. So just, nope. The proportions of the leg were not jiving with me. In here, I still had it at a side angle. Racing stuff, like trying to get the bend in the leg, the right angle. And mind you, I still haven't... I drew some kind of a design for Wolgrim on paper and pencil, and elements of the costume I kept, but originally I gave him an elvish look. But I'm saying to myself, the elf thing has been done to death. I'm not going to do that. So I wound up doing something a little different, as you're going to see very, very soon. Watch this. I just start redoing the head back and forth. All right, so the elvish thing is out. I tried a bunch of things making him look kind of like a crustacean, more like a creature of the Black Lagoon inspired thing. And ultimately, even had like a simian look to him. I'm not going to show you that. No. Why waste your time? This is a fun space, right? We're supposed to be relaxed. I just opted for the eye slits in a mouth. That's it. That's all he needs. Doesn't need anything more. Just kind of give him he has a kind of an angry look, but he's working, man. He's trying to get things done. He's riding a wave to stop a baddie, right? Yeah, that's the ticket. So that was it. Keep it simple. And then I had this scale idea going on with him. So just did some of this, filled that in for now. Keep it simple. All right, moving along. Well, as you can see, I want to erase some lines. I think I wasn't satisfied with the hand. Oh, no, I was going back to 3 fingers. That's right. Let's keep it 4 fingers. It just works better for me. He doesn't strike me as the... I'm going to give him 5 fingers, 6 fingers if I wanted to, but no. Too many fingers. He doesn't need them. So I'm building it out again. As you can see, I was giving me a more of an angle riding the wave. I wanted him to kind of be leaning forward. However, this leg was giving me fits because it just looked too extreme. So I kept going back and forth. Like, proportions seemed way off to me. And I think what was getting me ultimately is that his body, the way his body's angled, his legs wouldn't be at a side angle. But I still kept drawing them as they were. But I'll fix it, as you could see from the final result. This is just going through that phase. A lot of penciling. And as I said, this is really my first time drawing him, so it's a little more difficult when it's a character I've never really drawn before. I'm not really comfortable with the design, which I really was making it up as I went along, and the pose. I knew the power. When he is in fight to save the universe, he gets stuck on a planet that's covered in water. So this is his wheelhouse. He has to do something about it. The planet's not supposed to be covered in water. So that makes it even more of a challenge. He has to figure out, with the help of the oceans on the planet, to see if they can go back to their normal levels, if that's even possible. Here in Florida, storm surge can be the worst thing to try and... You never think the water levels can go that high, but man, it is the craziest thing to see that happen. It's like a hurricane hits and then maybe a few days, maybe 1 day or 2, it's calm afterwards. And all of a sudden, if you're near a river, watch out. Water levels go crazy. So here I did have a little more of an idea that I wanted his hand at a side angle. Unfortunately, I was having a lot of difficulty drawing it. I have to turn the canvas on its side, different angles, and I was just getting frustrated. I really need to learn to map this out in future videos. We're learning together. I know you're hoping to have someone that's maybe a little more seasoned at this. I've been drawing all my life, but trying to get to this level is a challenge. But we're doing it together. It'll be cool to see how far we go maybe a year from now. There wasn't too bad, but I didn't like that finger up there. I think I had to redo his hand. I made his fingers a little bigger, which is okay. He's controlling water. He swims through the water too. So this was the pose. Trying to figure out the costume. I did a costume design in his elvish form, which looked kind of cool, so I kept it. This isn't the final result, but I kind of liked the idea of this big belt and this kind of crescent thing going on. I don't know why. I think it'd be more for the moon guard, but playing around with that, and I wanted these little ringlet things going on and these stripes going down the side. Well, now I'm ready to ink in Wolgrim. Still have my Turnip pen set to 5 this time, though. The brush size is 5, and all the other settings remain the same as they had in the Palfyra sketch. Just kind of filling everything as best I can. See, I'd make things a little bigger, a little more filled out. Lines overlap, but that's okay. We can get rid of that in between videos. Yeah, in a little bit, you're gonna want to pause and then erase lines. And that's something you'd always do. Like, you'll see the next transition, so you can pause it there and erase your lines if you're doing it this way. That's what I do. There's no point in me talking while I'm erasing lines. It just seems a bit preposterous. Tedious. Moving right along, we're doing the ink in his shoulder. The foreshadowing here, the foreshortening, foreshadowing what's about to come is that this was really hard. But you know that already, so let's not focus on the difficulty. Let's just focus on getting this baby done. A little bit at a time. If you ever need to pause and catch up, it's fine. You can do that. I just didn't want to do this in real time because it was really long and tedious. So that's why I'm speeding things up. I mean, let me know if the sped up thing is working for you. If it's not, then we'll go back to real time. I just felt it was just too much to be doing that in real time. And I wanted to give you a little better audio this time, see where it goes. I'm recording on a separate track, hoping everything lines up. So I still have the bend in the knee there. This will change again. I think it's just too extreme for him to be bending that way. You'll see. And of course, the layer underneath I will lighten. Make sure you lighten the layer underneath if that's your thing. And if you want to have it full strength, I just think making it lighter, it's more of a guide and it's not too distracting if you have it as a lighter color layer. I usually make it, what did I have it at, 45%? This way when you're concentrating on your ink layer, it doesn't interfere. It's just the way I see it. Let's draw on those eyes. It's a lot easier to control them when you're in the when you have your brush settings this way. And I add a little bit of those lines there. Looking good. And that's really it. I don't have anything else there, just the mouth and these little, they're not gills, but maybe almost like a scaly alien texture for his head. I started filling in all this. This is going to change soon. So I liked the design, but as I kept going, it just didn't fit him. Even this I change. Oh, there you go. Yep, I made it this different little crescent and a full little oval there, and then the wrist rivulets. I still wanted the line going through. Then I realized, wait a second, I'm not digging that. Why don't... Well, I tried it this way, but as I proceed, as you can see, I just scrapped that idea. I think I decided to go with what you see in the final sketch, is this one continuous line from the top of the shoulder to the belt. I wasn't satisfied there. I wanted to make this. For me, sometimes, and this may be for you too, if you make a mistake in a little spot, you just redo the line over again, which is just what happened here. As you can see, I redid the outfit, and the design, I think, just fit him better. And you can see that the knees, just adjusting his arm, the knees are facing out more. It looks more anatomically correct, the way he would be positioned with the way his body's facing us. So I'm just fixing up some little lines here that were just bothering me. But as you can see, I think we did good with what I wanted, to have those extra lines there. I made them there, and I had it continue down this path here to match with the part of the belt in there. Straightening up some lines there, making them a little more in sync the way I want them. So yeah, it just comes from the top, and I think it's a good design. This guy looks like he could be swimming through water and controlling it, I believe. I just wanted to add an extra ringlet thing here because he has them on his wrists. So quick erase of those, and 3 on the top and 3 on the bottom. See? Okay, now we're looking pretty symmetrical. Anyhow. So yeah, just wanted to keep this design pretty cool, and let's move on to the little details now. Our little details. Back to our brush. Just adding a little bit of textures. Continue with this scaly look here. Maybe even add a little bit there. Who knows? Maybe his head could stretch a little. Just adding a little bit leading in there, and that's it. I didn't want to fix that a little bit. And my little connector tool, and then just adjust it. Yeah, a little adjustment. See? Stretch the eye out a little, make this one a little smaller so they're a little more symmetrical. Just playing around with some lines here, trying to get some details, but I ultimately scrapped those. You can see just this little shoulder rivet thing going on. Yeah, instead of that, I redid the whole line again. I wasn't satisfied. I had to fix that up a little bit so it's a little more symmetrical to the other side, the right side. Looks better. Use that object tool to move some stuff around. What am I doing? Oh, I was doing a little erasing, then his little chest details. Just a little. Erase that, don't need it. Gotta have that ab shadow thing going on. Instead of using the line, I'll just add some more. Get rid of those. I know where my ab muscles start in the center of it all. You don't need a lot. He still has ab muscles. He's working out in the water. Interstellars got to stay fit and trim. And the palm. Kind of like this broken up line here. And just some thumb and finger appendage shadows. That's it. Keeping it simple. Shadows under the arm. Yeah, the foreshortening thing, I think I got it. This one was a little weird. There we go. A little adjustment there, but a little more of the details there. And of course, trying to get to the side of the right arm, adding some of our bicep muscle and elbow shadow, and maybe some shade there. Keeping the fingers a little fat. Made that a little adjustment. I didn't really add much to the hand. I didn't want to. I just wanted to keep it simple. Maybe add some shadow to that because they're behind. And yeah, those little details there. You gotta have that little, that little midsection shadow thing. You can have them cross. Just a little detail in the crotch. We just can't have an empty space there. Continue that. We did a little something here because that'll be underneath that arm. Going wide, just checking them out again. Making sure everything looks like it's lining up. Get some little detail. I go across with the knee this time. Sometimes I shade the knee going in the same direction. I wanted to go across this time just to have some opposing shadows, details. A little more to the kneecap. And scrap that. I didn't give him that big muscle towards between the knee and the crotch area. It just didn't fit for him. But that I threw that in there. Once again, went across. I like this one for the side just going down in the direction, but the one on the other side I would go more along it. And a little bit of that. A little bit of that. And that is about it for that area. Now I wanted to do a design for his belt. Just can't have a regular belt. I was thinking of making it the same shapes. I was thinking of going kooky and doing a wave, but like, there's something going here, but no. Ultimately, no, this is kind of a Easter egg. It's like maybe a trident, but his name is Wolgrim. So this is almost like a W. A very sleek design W. If you look at it, it could be a W. It could happen. All right. And I think it works. I decided to be a little creative. Now we're going to another section here. These are special brushes that have, there's a dappled one. I wanted to play around and not just do the lines for a wave. I could have, but I wanted to play around with these special brushes. And look at that. Cloud almost looks like it could be water. If you just kind of spread it around and change it a little bit. Looks like it could be a water shape. I didn't have to do this, but I wanted to play around with this. I was feeling creative. That's what you do. Be a little creative, and you could do that with this program. Which one is this? This was, I think I wound up going to the airbrush. I was looking for, there was a bubble brush, and I couldn't find it yet. I did find it eventually. But then I moved on and found my airbrush one, and I went for the spray. And that one does, this would be in lieu of my lines with a turnip pen. Oh, let me make this. Just playing around and give them that wave to ride on. And then you could just splotch it around, make it look like water spraying in the air. Then I went to the droplet one. Just adding a little bit of droplets here. Just to give it a little extra something, you know? Add that little extra splash. Because he was a water dude. And I want to show him on a wave. And make the wave a little creative. Now, I don't know much about layer masks. So I did do a layer mask here. For fun. Whatever that means. I don't know what good it did. But it's there. So I know I had to erase some of this. I didn't want all of this to go through him. Well, I was starting to erase on the wrong line, but anyway, as you can see, I fixed this and eventually erase the lines. I think I was still hell-bent on finding my bubble brush, which I'm about to find in a little bit. Yeah, the layer mask, I still don't understand it. I gotta figure out what it does. But I had to erase some. I wanted some still in the foreground, like water would be splashing over his feet. Some will be behind him. And that's what I wanted to do. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed playing with me this time. Doing a little more fun stuff. There it is. There's the bubble brush. You got to play around with it. It was a little too dark. At first, I tried some small drops and like, well, the bubbles need to be a little bigger. I mean, maybe in all reality, I didn't need them, but I wanted them. The guy's got water, might as well use the bubble brush. I was getting rid of a few. I wanted to play around with the colors more. Because they have a color for the inside of the bubble and a color for the border of it. Is this what I ultimately ended up on? Yeah. Yeah, see little bubbles in there? It's just something extra. Do it till it can't be done. Right, Rodini? My friends say. Do it till it can't be done. And just adding a few here and there to give it that watery effect. I mean, look at that. I think we have a winner there. I'm satisfied with it. I hope you guys are. And there is Wolgrim, the ocean guard from the Interstellars. Whew! Well, thank you all for joining me on this video. Hope you enjoyed it. It was a challenge for me. And I think it came out all right, and I hope you had fun drawing along with me. And I will see you all next week with a new sketch video of the last of the Interstellars. Thanks for joining me, and as always, keep creating.